Hi, I'm Darren. Thanks so much for joining me for this webinar. I've called this the 5 Simple Barrier Busters, how to remove the blocks to crypto gains without any technical know-how. You see, for more than 85% of investors, knowing how to make any profit in crypto is pretty hard. See, there are 5 main barriers to this happening. The first is the insane amount of choice. There are thousands of coins to select, and there's the noise of 100 voices, and they're all telling you what to buy. This can lead to real confusion. There's the capriciousness of the market cycle, its changeability. Prices can pump up and they can dive back down without really anybody knowing why. There's also this lack of control that so many investors feel. They allow their emotions to control their investment decisions. There's also this inability to make a consistent long-term gain. And finally, there is the inevitable criminality, scammers out to take your money if you'll let them. So in this presentation, you're going to discover the simple way to remove these barriers, to take them down, to destroy them for good. You're also going to discover how you can choose the crypto with the best potential for these long-term gains. How to make consistent profit without needing any complicated strategies. How to stay cool in this capricious market. How to create consistent passive income, and then how to avoid those pesky scams. Okay, before we start though, I just have a few quick questions. Do any of these sound familiar? Do you find yourself increasingly concerned that you just aren't planning proactively for your financial future? Something I hear all the time, and it's one that we have to really think about. Sadly for most people, they've got no idea how to go about it, and they often leave it too late. Do you also worry that maybe you won't be able to pay for your own retirement? I think we all know we can't rely solely on the government or even our own company pension to provide us with that level of income that we'd like to keep when we start working. Can you also see a time ahead when you'll need additional cash for your children's college fund or helping them onto the property ladder? After all, we all want the best future for our children, regardless of how old they are right now, and trust me, they grow up so fast. Above all, can you maybe sense that there might be another way to secure this future, but you've just no idea how to access it? To now, you may have tried to solve this before. Maybe you've tried other investment products, but possibly been disappointed by the results. Stocks, shares, forex, maybe even some managed portfolios. Maybe you've considered downsizing at the right time to release some funds from your property. Maybe you've started to look into alternative income generation, selling online, coaching, maybe affiliate marketing. Maybe you've even begun to look at crypto, but something is definitely stopping you from taking things further. And if you're like most people, you probably only see those few options. The problem is that the barriers to entry for most of these DIY investment products are pretty high. Now, portfolio managers, they charge quite high fees and they often get it wrong as often as they get it right. Downsizing, yep, it's an option, but do you really want your lifestyle to be so impacted into the future? Now, selling online, that's risky due to supply chains. Coaching, it involves quite high-level marketing skills, and affiliate marketing requires some pretty large social media networks. And when it comes to crypto, there's just so much noise, it's really hard to know where to start until now. Because luckily there's a new method you're about to discover. It's going to help you avoid all of those issues, and it's going to finally remove those barriers to life-changing profits. It's called the SIMPL Barrier Buster, and it does just that. It removes the barriers to crypto profits once and for all. It's specifically designed to help you make consistent gains, removing the blocks that lose at least 85% of investors' money. It's going to help you keep your crypto safe and sound. It'll keep you calm amongst the storm. It'll allow you to grow a healthy passive income. It's going to help you create some truly life-changing wealth for you and your family. Now, I know it sounds crazy. However, just quickly before we get into the details, just let me introduce myself. My name is Darren Coxon. I've been a retail investor into stocks and shares for more than 15 years. Now, about a year or so ago, I moved into crypto and I have not looked back. You see, when I started, I made so many mistakes and I lost money. But it was only when I applied the same process I took when I taught English and critical thinking in Cambridge that my losses started to turn to profit. You see, in the same way that students have barriers to learning, I had the same sorts of barriers to making profit. So by removing those one by one, I was able to turn things around and I haven't looked back. I was able to leave my job, focus fully on crypto, as well as helping others to do the same. So without further ado, let me reveal my method to you. It's the 5 simple barrier busters, how to remove the blocks to crypto gains without technical know-how. Okay, so here are these barrier busters. So number 1, it's all about how to remove the barrier of choice through a straightforward research and selection process. Number 2 are my investment golden rules, how to tame the market's caprice for those big gains. Buster number 3, it's about mindset, how to control your emotions to keep your shirt and your hair where they should be. Now in number 4, we're going to look at a couple of passive income accelerators. These are ways you can get your crypto creating these consistent profits while you do nothing at all. And in barrier buster number 5, I'm going to talk about how to look out for the most common criminal scams. Now stick around for this one because it's probably the most hard one. Just one thing before we dive in though. None of what I'm going to share with you is direct investment advice. See, the cryptos, the platforms I mentioned, they're just by way of illustration to help you make the right choices for yourself, not make the sort of stupid mistakes I made when I started out. See, it's so important to do your own research, not just follow what other people are doing. As you get into crypto, you're going to hear these voices. Some of them are so loud. But, everyone has their own agenda. It's so important that you also have yours. My method, pretty simple. I'm going to give you the tools, make your own decisions so that you're not too swayed by this constant noise. So, step 1 is RS. How are we going to select the crypto with the best long-term growth potential to try and eliminate this confusion that we all experience when we start? Because knowing where to look for the most profitable crypto, it's actually quite hard when you set out. Look at the whole market. It's exploded in recent years. Bitcoin's gone from $70 to $50,000. The whole market cap from 1.5 billion to 2.5 trillion. The number of coins from 70 to over 10,000. It's just crazy, crazy growth. Take up faster than the internet. It means by 2030, there's going to be around 4 billion people using blockchain and crypto in their everyday lives. We're only at around 1997 in internet years. Just shows how much further we have to go. Mass adoption, it's just around the corner. El Salvador, institutional fund involvement, gaming metaverse, non-fungible tokens or NFTs, even Melania Trump tweeting birthday greetings to Bitcoin, which was very surprising. Now, but along with this massive growth comes massive choice, and along with the massive choice, massive confusion. You see, the old way of doing it usually revolves around, you overhearing a conversation about a certain crypto at work or maybe in the pub, or maybe you watch a YouTube or a TikTok influencer and they're promoting some 1000x gem. Then you do very limited research, maybe read a blog article or two, possibly look at Twitter, and then you jump in at the wrong time, you see the price drop, you panic sell, you close the laptop, and you say you'll never do it again. Because what you need is just a simple, repeatable search and selection process. Now, most people, when they first start, they focus on the big players, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, the big hitters. Now, there's nothing wrong with those cryptos, nothing at all. They've been around a long time. They're likely to stand the test of time into the future. But these have got market caps of multiple billions of dollars, trillions in the case of Bitcoin. So their room for really explosive growth is quite limited. Now, even if we see Bitcoin going to 100,000 or 200,000, that's like a 4 or 5 times gain on its current price. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but we can actually do even better. You see, what you want to be looking for are the coins with a lower market cap that have the most potential. So, for example, if you got into Polygon's Matic about a year ago, it was only worth a few pennies. $1,000 would be worth something like $80,000 today. Now, sadly, I invested a little later in the year into Matic, but I still made a pretty good return from it. Now, you may have already discovered CoinGecko. Now, it's similar to CoinMarketCap, but it's better, in my opinion. Don't head over there just yet, though, because I've linked to all of these websites in my ebook, so just keep watching. Now, the most useful feature of CoinGecko is the category section, which you can find under coins and then categories. This is going to show you which categories are currently on the uptrend. You can see those on the right hand side. You see, crypto is so much about the narrative. It's about the sectors that are most in demand and the most on trend. You know, at the moment, it's gaming, metaverse, decentralized finance. It could be something totally different next week, next month, or next year. You want to be looking more broadly at the macro as well. Why are these sectors currently so hot? So for example, Facebook, it changed its name to Meta. All the metaverse projects completely took off. See, prices are often tied to these major events, so it's really worth following crypto news. You can then drill down into the categories to look at which coins are on the uptrend. To look further down the list at those with a smaller market cap. For example, in an ecosystem like Avalanche, when the main coin AVAX pumps, the smaller cap coins linked to that ecosystem often pump along with it. So as an example, take a look at a coin like Boo Finance, which is offering some really attractive rates for staking, which I'll come on to later. You can then take the time to dig into the coins that are of interest to you. Check out their website, check out their Twitter and Telegram, see what other people are saying about the project, particularly influencers. Read their white paper, see if they've got one. What you want to be doing is learning as much as you can about the project and then monitoring it for a little while. Once you're happy that it has growth potential, don't jump straight in. Now, I really like coins that have shown an initial pump, increased in value, but then they've cooled off a little bit. They're often the ones that will reignite, so you just have to keep an eye on them. You also want to be looking for coins and projects coming into the market or moving from the smaller to the larger exchanges. Now, CoinMarketCap, it's got a really useful calendar function. This shows upcoming ICOs or initial coin offerings. You can find it under the calendar menu. It's worth spending the time to research these ICOs because you only have to choose one that explodes and your returns can be awesome. But for me, where the real gains are to be made is in IDO launch pads. Now, IDOs are initial DEX or decentralized offerings. Now, these are pre-sales of quite small crypto projects before they launch onto the big exchanges. They're often at very, very low market caps. So these launchpads include Binance Launchpad, Seedify, VeloSpad, BSCpad. Now, getting in early can be highly profitable because coins will often increase massively in value when they're openly listed. Now, you'll sometimes need to KYC or know your customer, and you'll probably need to get onto the Launchpad whitelist. Just one word of warning though on these pre-sales. If you miss the chance of getting into a project like that, onto a launchpad, because they can often sell out in minutes, do not jump in to the sale the moment the coin is listed on an exchange, because they'll usually increase hugely in price and then they drop really dramatically because it's those who got into the pre-sale on the launchpad taking their profits. Wait a few hours or a few days for the price to settle and then buy when there's a dip. There always is a dip. Trust me, I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So that's the best way to select your crypto. So find the hot trends, choose lower market cap coins within uptrending categories, get in early through those launch pads. You're more likely to get those big long-term gains. Remember, nothing is guaranteed, but the earlier you invest, the more likely you are to make those 100 times or even 1,000 times profits. Okay, sounds good. But how are you now going to find your edge to get into the 15% of investors who make money every day from crypto? How are you going to remove that barrier to move from the 85 to the 15%? So in step 2, the I of SIMPL, we're going to look at the investment golden rules. What's the best approach to get into that 15% club? You see, there are two main problems that new investors have when they get into crypto. The first is around timing. They don't time their entry at all well. They see the prices fall and they panic sell. The second is around impatience. They don't give the crypto long enough to perform. They get get a bit bored, they sell, and then of course they see the price start to increase. However, with just a few simple rules, you can remove those barriers and fast track your way to these crypto profits. Now, first of all, you're going to want to work in the opposite direction to those 85% of losers. Now, this may at first glance seem really obvious, but it's the hardest thing in the world to do. Why? Well, because you're going to want to be buying when the prices are low, the whole market's boring, everyone's really scared, and then you're going to want to start selling when everyone else is piling in and the prices are soaring, going through the roof. It's actually easy to remember. Buy when it's boring, sell when it's soaring. Get that tattooed somewhere. Now, let's look at this chart of Bitcoin over the last few months. Now, you can see just how up and down it is, just how volatile, just how capricious. So why is this important? Well, because if you want to be in the group who make money in the crypto markets, you have to be buying when the prices are depressed. So kind of in that area shaded green. And when prices are shooting up, you should be taking profits. So the area shaded in red at the top there. Now, don't ever worry about perfectly timing the top and the bottom of the price, because you never ever will. And it doesn't matter. You just need to focus on buying when there's more selling pressure and taking profits when there's more buying pressure. Let's just look at a quick example. Let's say you invested $1,000 at the lower green line when the price of Bitcoin was about $40,000. You then held this, dropped a little, and eventually rose all the way up to $69,000. But when the price rose to about $60,000, you actually took $500 in profit, and that's shown by the red line. But you kept your original 1,000 still in the Bitcoin. Now that feels quite good, doesn't it? Don't worry about missing out because you could have held for longer, squeezed a few more dollars of profit. Doesn't matter because you've just had a 50% rate of return on your Bitcoin, so well done. That's how every single one of the consistently profitable traders like me works. So you have to do the same. So when the price drops, take that 500, drop it back in where the second green line is shown. And now you've got a $1,500 stake. You see, that's the magic of compounding in crypto. And it can turn 1,000 into 10,000 and that 10,000 into 100,000. You need to think of it like allowing the market to pay you for your wise trading decisions. Sounds easy, yeah? No, it's not. Not at all. And I'll show you why. Now, the reason this is so hard is because of two basic human emotions, fear and greed. You see this hugely amplified in the crypto markets for two reasons. First of all, crypto is still really new. No one knows for sure which projects are going to be super successful and make millionaires and which will ultimately fail. So when prices start to fall, a lot of people panic sell because they worry the price will go to zero. And the reason so many people panic is because about 50% of current investors in crypto have been in it for less than a year. So they don't realize these extreme price movements are totally normal. You see, after a while, you kind of get used to it and you can use it to your advantage by using an indicator like the crypto fear and greed index. You can buy then when the market is fearful, so in that green area, and you can take profits when it's greedy, so up in the red area. You can see very, very clearly as well how the price of Bitcoin maps against the fear and greed index. This is why Bitcoin is a really, really good barometer. Lots of people say when Bitcoin sneezes, the rest of the market catch the flu, and it's absolutely true. Now, what you can see is that the darkest and the most ugly times for price, without any doubt the best times to be buying, even if doing so goes completely against all of our instincts. Okay, so by buying the fear, selling the greed, you stand a very good chance of taking money from the market. But what's the best buying strategy? So the problem most people face is that they dump their entire dollar balance into the coin at one time. This is a really big mistake because if the coin suddenly drops in price, they're much more likely to panic sell. What you actually want to do is ladder into your position. This is also known as dollar cost averaging. Let's say you've got $5,000, you want to invest it in Bitcoin. So rather than drop the entire $5,000 in one go, you're going to divide it into 5 lots of 1,000 and you're going to invest $1,000 each time the price drops. Just like this, look, you can drop in $1,000 at all the points marked with the circle. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, okay, it's easy to say that looking back, because you had no idea where the prices would go. But that is the whole point. Let's say you dropped your 5,000 in at the first circle. Your 5,000 would have turned into 4,000 before it started to move back the other way. So psychologically, it's much, much easier to drip feed your money in rather than throwing it all in one go. It's also been shown to get greater returns, particularly if you're super regular about when you invest each month. Let me just show you what I mean. The other way to do it is to set a date each month and automatically invest a percentage of your $5,000 over the year. So look what would have happened if you'd been investing $417 every month for the last 9 years. Your $45,000 would have turned into $8.4 million. Now that is not a bad return. You can also ladder out when you take profits. So you can decide when you buy on taking profits at maybe 10%, 20 or 30%, whatever your risk tolerance is. So you might have taken out 10% profit at each of these 3 points, for example. Now remember, let the market pay you when it pumps and you're in profit. Finally, the single biggest thing you want to ward against is Fomoing into a position. So Fomoing, fear of missing out, it's the thing that all new traders are guilty of, and it can absolutely wreck you. So what is FOMO? Well, at its most basic, it is when you see all around you loads of coins pumping in value, going up and up and up, and you think everyone else is going to become a millionaire and I'm not. And so what you do, you jump in, you buy that coin. You don't want to miss out on those millions. But what then happens is the price dips, and as the price dips, other coins start to pump. So what you do, you panic sell that coin, and then you buy another that's pumping. And then what happens? That coin then drops in value, and so on, and so on, and so on. And you just basically repeat till you've got no money left. In order to avoid this, you need to have a trading plan. So what are the conditions on which you'll buy? At what price? When will you take profits? When, if at all, will you sell the entire position? You see, the more you plan before you buy, the more you remove emotion. And that's going to put you at such an advantage over 85% or more of traders. You see, you want to be like this guy, staying super cool while everybody else loses it. And trust me, they regularly do. Okay, great. You can now find the hottest crypto and you know the best time to buy to gain your edge over the 85%. But how are you going to cope in such a volatile, emotional, capricious market? So that's what barrier buster number 3 is all about, because it's all about mindset. The best way to approach your investing to give you an even greater edge over other investors. You see, the single biggest problem that new investors into crypto have is dealing with the extremes of emotion. Things like greed, fear of missing out that we've just talked about, panic when the prices drop, just the sheer uncontrollable nature of it all. It can really stress people out if they're not careful. However, just 5 simple mindset hacks you can really put yourself at an advantage. Now, the first is this: check your emotions before you place a trade. I mean, do you feel any? Nerves, euphoria, maybe a bit of anger because you recently sold at a loss, you want to get your money back. Maybe you're starting to feel a bit bitter because the market's just cheating you all the time. Absolutely the worst time to trade. You've got to approach trading without emotion. Adding a bit more detail to this, you should never revenge trade. So this is when you sell at a loss and then you quickly place another trade to try and recoup your losses. It just never works. It will wreck you. Another big mistake new traders make is they sell, but then they see the price continue to rise, and so they buy back in, but then of course the price is going to fall again. There's no need. Just wait for the coin to drop in value before reinvesting, because they always do. Remember this: what prices do after you sell is absolutely none of your business. Another key mindset shift is to think long term. Now, if you've done your research, it's highly likely your investments will greatly appreciate in value in the long term. So, a 10,000 portfolio, it might drop a few thousand if the market troughs, but it may well end up as 100,000. So don't have a day trader mentality, because traders like that, they just end up losing money. Day traders on average, 95% certain of losing money. So the key here is learn how to hodl or hold on for dear life. Providing you're taking profits at the right time, this becomes so much easier the longer you're in crypto. Now, finally, you need to focus on your general well-being. This is what Stephen Covey calls sharpening the saw, because with a blunt saw, you can't cut a thing. You've got to get enough sleep. You have to eat properly. You have to exercise. I actually also find meditation really helpful. Crypto can be really exhausting, so you've got to take the time to look after yourself. I never said financial freedom was going to be super, super easy. With these 5 hacks then, you're going to be at a huge advantage to at least 85% of investors who make these mistakes all the time. Okay, so you're on the right track now. You've got everything you need for success. You're making good profits, but what are you going to do with these gains for more consistent income potential? Now, step 4, barrier buster number 4, it's all about this passive income. These are 2 accelerators. They're simple to access, but they're going to give you those consistent long-term returns. You see, crypto, it may be the Wild West, but it really is also the promised land. It's a place of real opportunity where new millionaires are minted every single day. However, most new investors don't take the time to properly research DeFi, and so they miss out on these amazing growth opportunities. They're only going to get bigger as DeFi matures. You see, by staking your crypto and then borrowing against it, you can create significant passive income without selling any of your crypto. Does that sound too good to be true? Well, let's take a look. First off, let's look at staking. So at its most basic, this is lending your crypto back onto the exchange so they can use it for a number of really, really clever purposes. Now they're able to generate a yield from this, which they then share back to stakers in the form of interest. This can vary from a few percent to many thousands of percent, depending on your risk tolerance. So for example, crypto.com, it offers an attractive dollar staking rate. You compare that to the banks, and you can see why DeFi staking is just so popular. You might also want to check out Wonderland and Olympus DAO, but do make sure you do your own research before investing, because if the crypto falls in value, this can actually more than offset any interest that you might make. This is known as impermanent loss, and it's one thing you do need to watch out for. There's even more magic in DeFi. You can also borrow on your crypto holdings. You can spend your profits without liquidating any of your crypto. And that, of course, can also help with capital gains. So you deposit your crypto with a platform like Ramp DeFi. You can borrow a USD stablecoin, and you can use that however you like. Now, the interest earned on your deposit can even help pay off the loan, which can make it a self-repaying loan. So by staking your profits, you can compound your gains further, and by borrowing against them, you've got money to spend without liquidating your crypto. Now, I know we've covered a lot, but there's one other thing that I wanted to share with you, and that's how to keep your crypto safe. You see, the L of SIMPL is all about how you need to be on the lookout for scams, because they're all around you. Now, it's less of an issue on the big centralized exchanges like Binance and Coinbase, but as soon as you dip your toe into DeFi, you do need to look out for the sharks. It's actually sobering to know that investors lost more than $7 billion to scammers in 2021 alone. This is why the criminal element is the area most new investors are worried about. They don't think they'll be able to keep their money safe, so they'd rather not take the risk. However, there are just a few simple steps that you can take to protect yourself. It's just about being vigilant. Here are a few that either I've experienced myself firsthand, sadly, lost money through, or I know of people who've been affected by them. And when I tell you that one guy I know remortgaged his house to invest $70,000 in a scam, lost the lot, you'll realise just how devastating this can be. However, there are a few simple steps that you can take to keep safe. So the first 2 scams, they're found in the murky waters of the Binance Smart Chain. Now, this is the land of the rug pulls and the honeypots. Let's just quickly look at both. First off, the rug pull, Exhibit A. This is when the contract owner pulls all of the liquidity, all the money from the contract once it reaches a certain value. So you invest, the price goes up and up, suddenly whoosh, rug pulled, every dollar removed. Now, I watched one recently where they removed about $500,000 after only about an hour, and these are being released every few minutes. Second, Exhibit B is the honeypot. Now, this is where prices are going to go up and up and up. You think the whole world and you are going to get rich off this one, and then your $100 turns into $10,000. You try and remove your investment, but guess what? You can't. That's because the contract is locked. Liquidity cannot be removed. They've literally locked the door on you. Now, honeypot scammers are really clever because they can even whitelist certain contract addresses. So it looks like people are selling, but of course they're not. Now, to help you, you can use a screener like Dex Screener. This is going to give you certain tools like Stay Safu, which you can see on the right hand side. Now, this can detect some, but not all of the scams like honeypots, but it can also show you what percentage of the contract is held by the top 5 wallets. Now, this is really important because the higher the number, the easier it is for those wallets to drain the money, drain the contract super fast. There's also Token Sniffer, very similar to Stay Safu. It's actually good to use them both together. Now, my honest opinion, don't invest in these sorts of coins. We call them mem coins, coins with no utility, no use whatsoever. They're 90% scams, 10% Ponzi schemes. Unless you get the legitimate ones in the first hour or so, you'll likely lose money. Now, BSC, Binance Smart Chain, by far and away the highest risk area of crypto, so just be warned. Now, the next scam is being sent to fake websites through a seemingly legitimate Telegram, Twitter, or YouTube group to take part in a pre-sale like I've just talked about earlier on. You send money to the pre-sale contract, but of course, you're not. You're sending it to a criminal. Pink Sale has been caught in the past, and it's not alone. You must double check the website. Generally, only go through the authentic Twitter feed, or even better, through CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, because these projects will also have legitimate Telegram groups. Now, next up is our old friend, the Greed Machine, also known as the absurdly high interest staking scheme. Now, these take the same format as the legal ones that I talked about earlier. However, scammers have started using this to their advantage by creating something called a slow rug. Let's just check this one out. You can see on the slider for Jade Protocol here that your $25 would have turned into almost $300,000 in a year. Now, this is nothing compared to what it was like when the platform launched with something like a $500 million APY. That same $25 would have turned into literally millions. Now, most people with any sense would LOL. Correct? Wrong. This is the same scheme that lost one guy $70,000, probably also his house, maybe even his wife. So really not that funny. You can see on the chart at the bottom what I mean by a slow rug. You see, once the contract is nice and full, we're talking millions of dollars, the contract owners slowly drain the liquidity. The money just is pulled out bit by bit. Not so fast as to cause a panic, but fast enough for them to make off with the money, hence a slow rug. You know, it's a bit like the frog that's in the water that's slowly boiled alive without it realizing. Okay. Next exhibit is the front-running bot. Now, at its most basic, a front-running bot will buy into a new coin the moment it's released. And then it's going to sell a short time after. If you do this multiple times over, you're going to make a really good profit. But there are legitimate versions. These cost thousands of dollars. No one's going to give them away for free on YouTube. No, of course. What these guys do is they blind you with technical language, so you're really impressed. You think it has to be legitimate. They also have lots of fake reviews saying how great the bot is. It isn't. It's just going to steal your money, so be warned. Okay, so by using scam checkers, if you want to get your hands dirty on the Binance Smart Chain, by being very careful when you're interacting with websites, avoiding these silly APY staking schemes, and then realizing that free bots are scams, masked in clever language, you're at a huge advantage to the millions who lose money in scams in crypto every single year. That sadly does include me. Okay, let's have a quick recap of our 5 barrier busters. So number 1, RS, how to search for the best crypto. Number 2 is our I, it's our investment golden rules. Number 3, getting into the right mindset for being in crypto. Number 4 are those passive income accelerators. And then number 5 is about being on the lookout for scams to keep safe when swimming with those sharks. Okay, knowing what you know now, do you feel more confident investing in crypto? And I really hope the answer is yes. Can you see yourself using what I showed you today to help you get started making some really life-changing wealth? Would you like to spend even more time together, going deeper and further on how to get started in crypto in the best and the safest way possible? Now listen, so far we've covered a lot and it's been a lot of fun because I love teaching and helping people learn about crypto. I've only had 30 minutes or so to share this entire process with you. This is a process that can literally help you make those life-changing gains. So I really tried to pack as much information as I possibly could into that time we had together, and I really hope it's been useful. Now, maybe your mind at this point is going a bit crazy and you're wondering, how on earth am I going to do all this, right? Now, that's why I want to ask you a quick question. If it's okay with you, I'll just spend 5 minutes more. We've got some time left over to go over a really amazing gift I'm going to give to you for free that I think that can really help you. It's something that's going to help you through all of the steps. It's going to take the guesswork out of it. It's going to make your life and getting started so much easier. You see, I've set some time on my calendar in the next few days to personally help you create your own trading plan, your own barrier-free trading plan, completely free of charge. Okay, let's be honest here though. This is for you if you really are 100% serious about making this serious money in crypto. If you'll understand that there's going to be a learning curve to learn the crypto landscape and also how to trade effectively, and also understanding that there are risks. But investing smartly can really reduce these. Now, if that's not you, I understand, absolutely no problem at all. However, if it is you, I'd like to invite you to book your free strategy session with me personally by clicking the button below the video, filling out a short form, scheduling your call with me. Now, if you're in full screen mode, whether you're on your desktop or your mobile, you're going to need to exit full screen mode, scroll down to find the button. And once you do that, go ahead and click, follow the instructions on your screen. Now look, I'll be honest up front, so I don't want to waste your time. This is not going to be for everyone. If you want to get rich quick, not put in the work, it's not for you. If you're not willing to invest some time, some money, and some energy into your trading plan, it's just not going to be for you. If you're not 100% committed to understanding the game you're entering, this is probably not for you. And most importantly, if you're itching to drop your whole life savings in some dog coin, definitely not for you. Turn off this webinar now because I don't really want to work with gamblers. However, genuinely though, if you think this is for you, I'm now looking for a few more committed people that I can help to achieve their investment dreams and become a member of this exclusive 15% club of investors like me who make money day in, day out in crypto. The big question is, are you with me? If so, click on the button below and schedule your free strategy session with me now. Now, as we're nearing the end of the presentation, you might find yourself sitting in the maybe category. Maybe you should book a call. Maybe something is here that can help you. Maybe. Usually when I encounter these maybes, it's a sign there's something getting in the way of you making a yes decision. Now, if I had to guess, it comes down to one of the following reasons. It's most likely because you're worried about risking your money, or it just seems a bit too complicated, or you're just not really sure you've got the nerve to watch your money go up and down, or that you're going to be scammed, or simply because you don't feel you've got the time to learn something new. Now, let's talk about each of these, starting with the first one. Yeah, okay, it takes some nerve to get into any investment, not just crypto. However, as at least 85% of the people who invest every single day don't have these nerves, by cultivating the right mindset, you actually stand a very good chance of being the one who wins out. You just need to learn the right techniques, which we can explore more together on our call. There's a degree of complexity in crypto, but you don't have to be a technical genius to make money. In fact, too much technical know-how can blind you to the simple truth that you just need to apply a certain mindset and a clear set of rules to your trading. You want to learn as much as you can about the cryptos that you'll invest in, but you certainly don't need to know everything there is to know about crypto because no one does. Take the time to do your research, plan your trade, stick to that plan. It's really simple when you understand how. Now, crypto is volatile. It's largely unregulated, and of course, that brings with it a degree of risk. But isn't it just as risky keeping all your savings in a bank account where they're earning no interest at all, and in fact, they're depreciating in value year on year due to inflation? Now, if you'd invested $1,000 into Bitcoin 10 years ago, that's going to be worth around $3 million today. Yeah, crypto goes up and down, but the facts, they speak for themselves, and there are new coins released all the time that could become the next Bitcoin in terms of growth. So by only investing what you can afford to lose, you can make significant gains and you can create new passive income streams. If that isn't adding to your financial security, honestly, I'm not sure what is. Now, being scammed, yeah, it's a very real threat in crypto, but it's just a bigger threat to us every day. Phishing, cyber attacks, data theft, these going on every single day, and often we don't even know about them. If you take the time to practice vigilance in your crypto security, you're far less likely to be scammed than elsewhere in your life because you've got total control with cryptocurrencies. Now, I agree that learning anything new, it's pretty hard, does take time, but isn't it true that we all have the same number of hours in each day? So it's not just about the time you have, but what you do with that time. My personal philosophy is quite simple. I just try and make every single moment of my day count. That's how I make progress. So make a list of everything you do in your day. Work out, is there anything that's not moving you on in your life? Trade it for learning as much as you possibly can about crypto. That Netflix box set, it's going to be there tomorrow. This opportunity might not. This will be time well spent. So click on that button below, sign up to speak with me. Now, after answering all of those questions, if you still haven't booked a call with me, there's not much else I can do really. I've given you everything I have. I've even made the call free. So one last time, if you're interested in creating life-changing wealth through crypto investment, click on the button below, schedule a free call with me, and I look forward to helping you achieve complete financial freedom for you and your family. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my presentation today. Really hope it's been useful, and I really hope that I hear from you soon. Bye-bye.